I'm fiending for Bayern Munich. Can this international break be over already? Welcome to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. Today is October 11th, recording a State of the Season address for Bayern Munich here. My name's Danny. I'm the Bayern Munich fan on this channel. Please be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to comment. All those amazing things really helps us out. We're building a community here of football fans. But yeah, I'm sad this weekend with no Bayern Munich, and am I just doing this here to distract myself from the Milwaukee Brewers playing a must-win Game 5 in the playoffs? Maybe, but I also really enjoy doing these international break State of the Season addresses, and Bayern Munich is a great team to talk about. They're absolutely rolling right now, so in this one I'm going to, kind of do the normal State of the Season address. We're going to look at how the team's doing in all competitions, their form as a whole. I'm going to break down my predictions from the beginning of the year, maybe update them if I see fit at this point, and also rank and review every player's individual performances. And then, kind of give a review of obviously the coach, but also the entire Bundesliga. So it's going to be a good one. Obviously, Bayern Munich is in a great spot right now, so they're a lot of fun to talk about. But yeah, let's hop right in here. Right now, Bayern Munich is perfect. Vincent Kopmany and co. went 10 for 10. The Bundesliga, they're sitting at top of the table with 18 points, 6 games, 6 wins, and a lot of the wins have been really, really impressive too. The attack right now looks so deadly, and there may be a few questions about the back line, which the back line's been solid, but against tougher competition, we'll see if they can keep up this level. But ultimately, if the attack is as good as they've been, and if they stay healthy, you bring back obviously Jamal Musiala, Alphonso Davies, it might not even matter if there are a few cracks in that back line. We'll see, obviously, again, once we start to get into the later stages of the season, later rounds of Champions League, other tournaments, all that stuff. But yeah, next up here would be the DFB Pokal, where Bayern's 1-for-1. They had one game, honestly, one of their worst games of the season against Wehan, barely winning that one thanks to a Harry Kane goal at the very end. But yeah, they'll play Köln next in the second round, and that one will be a little bit more of a test. Köln is looking good so far this year. And then as far as the UCL goes, 2 games, 2 wins, and one of those games was against Chelsea. We live streamed that. Jim and I, he's the Chelsea fan from this channel, live streamed it, did reactions, previews, all that stuff. But, that was a match against a real heavyweight, I would say, or a top team in Europe, the world champions even. And Bayern looked really good in that one, and then looked great against Paphos as well. In their second Champions League game, they got Club Brugge coming up here after the break, but after that it'll be Arsenal, it'll be PSG first and then Arsenal. But either way, some really, really big matches in the Champions League coming up. So yeah, stick around for that. Obviously, always Bayern Chelsea will keep you covered. But Bayern's actually at the top of the table in the Champions League as well right now with 6 points and a +6 goal differential. Madrid, I believe, also has a +6 differential, but at least the SofaScore table that I had looked at had Bayern ahead of Madrid. I'm not sure what the second tiebreaker is, but ultimately it won't matter because there's so many more games left in this league phase of the Champions League now. So, Bayern's looking great. Bayern Munich is looking great right now. And really perfect, I guess. They look like one of the top teams in the world right now. Again, it's early. It's October. A lot can change. Guys can get injured, blah, 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 blah. But Bayern will be getting Musiala back. They will be getting Davies back. Hiroki Ito should even provide some stability in that back line. And, at the moment, they do look like one of the best teams in Europe. Again, that attack is firing on all cylinders. The addition of Luis Diaz has been exactly what Bayern needs on that left-hand side of the attack. Not to throw shade on Zane or Coman or whatever, but Diaz is just bringing a different profile, a better level, quite frankly, overall, just in terms of fitting in with this attack. If he keeps that up, again, you get Musiala back, but right now, Serge Gnabry is playing pretty much as good as we've seen him. Serge Gnabry is accepting a new role in that 10. while Musiala is out, he's playing unselfishly. He's really clicking with the attack. I think, maybe some of the pressure is off his shoulders a little bit. Not having to do it all. Obviously relying on guys like Kane, Olise, Diaz, and just sliding in where necessary. Gnabry's been great. Olise, what can you say? One of the best signings of the last 2 years in my mind across world football as a whole. And Harry Kane is on a mission this year. There's a fire lit inside of Harry Kane that I've never seen before. I mean, of course, he hasn't been on Bayern very long, but I'm sure Spurs fans will tell you this guy's always been the real deal. But for me, and Kane's always been great. I've always loved him on Bayern, but this year there's just something different about the man, and he's really taking no prisoners and just far and away the best player in the world right now. So he's doing it all. And this team just looks unstoppable. Obviously, you got Kimmich holding things down in the midfield. Neuer is playing like he did when he was, I don't know, mid to late 20s, whatever. Neuer's playing great. And this team under Vincent Kompany is just all on the same page. I think Kompany, he had that year to maybe get the fundamentals down, and now he's maybe digging more into the details. Whatever it is, he is coaching this team in a way that is absolutely perfect. No complaints whatsoever about Vincent Kompany at the moment. He's rotating guys more. That was a problem last year, not this year. Kompany's the man. Kompany's the man. But yeah, let's go and look at some of my predictions now, because I do this. I predict in the beginning of the year. We kind of revisit throughout the year during these breaks and see what we're thinking. Bundesliga. First and foremost, Bayern has to win the Bundesliga. Bayern will win the Bundesliga unless a catastrophic event happens. But right now, it looks like there is not a lot of challengers at the moment. The Bundesliga, let's be honest, it got raided last year by wealthier clubs in the Premier League around the world. The Bundesliga got raided. A lot of the top talent left the league. So, you see teams like Leverkusen, who was obviously invincible 2 seasons ago, and then last year was great as well. They're just their team is a shell of itself from that invincible season. You have Dortmund, who's looking really solid, but can a team like Dortmund get to that next level to challenge a team like Bayern? I'm not so sure. I think Niko Kovac has Dortmund firing in a way that will keep them consistent and keep them, in a top 4 spot, maybe even keep them at that second position for a while. But it just seems like there's no stopping this Bayern Munich team right now. Leipzig as well. They're a team who started really poorly, lost 6-0 to Bayern in the opening week of the season, and now is looking really good. But again, can they be consistent enough to keep up with Bayern? I don't really think so. I think Bayern far and away wins the year. You have Frankfurt, who started off really good, and Bayern beat them 3-0. So that just shows the level that Bayern's at right now. The Franz Beckenbauer Super Cup, Bayern won. I predicted them to win it. So there you go, 1-for-1 with that one. Beating Stuttgart in a good match, a close match. And then you have the Pokal. I believe I predicted Bayern to win it. I'm going to stick with that prediction. They should win it. Granted, these cup matches, anything can happen. And I think Köln, like I said, is going to be a tough challenge away. They've been probably the surprise team of the year with how good they've been. But Bayern should. They're just the most talented team in Germany. They should win it. Again, though, it's these cup matches are just wild. We saw it against Wehan. Bayern almost choked that one away. So it's no guarantee, but they should win it. Champions League now, the big one. I predicted a quarterfinal bow out for Bayern Munich in the beginning of the year. I mentioned it, they're one of the best teams right now. They could win the Champions League. They really could. If they stay healthy, I think they'll be up there. So we'll move that. We'll move it up to a semifinal at the moment, just because who knows what's going to happen. But like I said, I think they're playing like the best, or one of the best, if not the best teams in Europe right now. I think PSG, Arsenal, those will be great tests, but yeah, Bayern just looks like they're unstoppable at the moment. And let's keep it going. Why not? Why not? The team has a great mentality, again, rallying around Kompany. So let's keep it going. And next, we got to look at players. Let's go through them all. Let me rank them all out of 10 for how they've been so far, and maybe talk about them a little bit. Yeah, so let's start with keepers. I can't rate Urbig, I can't rate Ulreich at this point. They just haven't played enough. But Neuer is at a 9. Almost perfect from Neuer so far. I think he's been really, really good. 9 out of 10 for Neuer. Shot stopping's been good. Decision making's been good. There have been maybe a mistake or two here and there. I'm thinking about that Hoffenheim game. So that's why I can't give him a perfect 10 out of 10, but he's been damn near a 10 out of 10. Defenders now. Davies and Ito, can't rate them. They've been injured all year. Can't wait till they get back. I really think that Alphonso Davies, especially coming back, could be such a huge difference maker in this team. The way he attacks, that's no slight to Stanisic, who's been playing left back, although he's hurt now. So then it's Leimer, Guerrero, whatever. Leimer has been a jack of all trades. I mean, he's been great at every position he's played, but Davies brings you into that upper echelon of best left back in the world category. Really, really, really influential in the attack, and I think Alphonso Davies is going to unlock an even higher level in Luis Diaz on that left-hand side. So that's the one that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, Starboy Jamal Musiala as well. I can't say that enough. But Rafa Guerrero, Sacha Boey, I'm giving them both 5s. Guerrero is a guy who I don't think can play as a left back anymore. I've said it. He's a fine enough option at a 10 as a backup, whatever. All these other roles as a backup. At left back, he can play it, I guess, against a team like Paphos, for example. I thought that was a great example of a game where Guerrero could play left back, but it's really only a game where Bayern is going to have, 80% possession, and they're really not going to be challenged defensively. So those kind of games, Guerrero still has something to offer, but at this point, I don't see him as much more than a backup. And I could say the same about Sacha Boey. He's had some good performances here and there. He actually, I thought, did really good against Chelsea, so shout out to Boey for that. But, he's not a guy who I look at and I think he's starting caliber Bayern Munich material. Again, he can play backup, but I don't really see a use of him being on the team, to be honest with you. So I'm giving him a 5 out of 10 when everybody's healthy. Most of his performances haven't been great, but he's put together a few good ones here and there, but he's not somebody that I want to rely on whatsoever. Next up, we'll give Jonathan Tah a 6. Tah has, in my mind, had a bit of a rough start to his Bayern Munich tenure. He's a good leader. I like what I hear from him in interviews. I think he's a good to great locker room guy, but just on the pitch, he's leaving a little bit to be desired, quite frankly. He hasn't looked sharp enough, fast enough. He's put together a string of solid performances now, but there's just been a lot of questionable moments where, the way Kompany needs his center backs to play, I'm not sure if Tah is quite the man you need. He's good enough, I'll say, in many instances. And I mentioned this at the beginning. When the attack can score 4 or 5 goals a game, does it matter? Maybe not. But I don't know if he's exactly the guy that Bayern Munich thought he was going to be when they got him. Next up, we'll say Josip Stanisic and Kim Min-jae. I'm giving them both 6.5s. They've been solid, and let me start with Stanisic, who is playing out of position, so keep that in mind. To be a 6.5 out of position, he played mostly left back before he got injured because of all the injured left backs. To be a 6.5 out of position, to me, that's impressive. So I don't think I'm dogging on Stanisic at all. I think at right back, he'd be maybe up to a 7.5, 8. I think Stanisic is a really, really solid player. It's just clear he's a little bit better on that right-hand side. So again, to fill in for a left back and be a 6.5, that's absolutely no complaints for me. That is not bad at all. If your third string left back can give you real solid performances, hey, I'll take it. I will take it every day out of the week. And then as far as Kim goes, it's been a tough season for Kim in terms of I think he would like to be a starter. He actually had a lot of really good performances that I would have said were better than Tah. And if you noticed, I'm rating him higher than Ta. Ta was a 6, Kim's a 6.5 right now. But he has had a couple of rougher ones in there as well, unfortunately. And he's also injured now and trying to play through injury again. So, Kim, just get healthy. Just get healthy and Company rotate these center backs and create a true rotation, keep these guys fresh, keep them sharp. And I think everybody will benefit, including Kim. So I can't complain too much about what Kim's done this year. Diet Upamecano, 7.5. Really solid season from Upamecano again. I don't think he's quite been at his absolute ceiling that we saw at times last year. Maybe it's trying to figure out this partnership with Ta. Whatever. Upamecano, yeah, he's been really solid, I think. But maybe he just hasn't been challenged enough, whatever. But there is another level that I've seen him get to for sure. But he's been really, really good. And to me, a 7.5 is really good. So again, don't think I'm hating on him at all. Hopefully the contract situation with Upamecano gets figured out. I don't want that to be a distraction later into the year at all. Konrad Laimer now, a 9. I've been shocked with how good Laimer has been this year. And you know what Laimer is. You know what he can give you. He's aggressive. He has an edge to him. He is up in the faces of the opponents. He's up into the attack. He's combining with Olise. You know all those things, but I'm really shocked at how good he's been at right back. Like, the guy is essentially, he's a right back now, let's be honest. But he was a midfielder up until Company figured out that he could play right back. And does his positioning leave a little bit to be desired sometimes? Sure. But the way he combines with this attack, with Olise, with Kane, with Gnabry, with Diaz, with every single part of this attack, like, Konrad Laimer is a menace. He's a threat at all times, basically, to assist, to score, and also to play that aggressive brand of defense, getting up in guys' faces. Maybe one too many yellow cards even, but with Laimer, he's a dog. He's a dog, and I'm giving him a 9 out of 10 for it because, the guy's even filled in at left back. Can you imagine that? A midfielder playing right back, now playing left back at times, and he's still really solid. I can't say enough good things about Konrad Laimer at this point. He's become sneakily one of the most important pieces of this team. And, he's not a Harry Kane. He's not a Jamal Musiala. He's not a Michael Olise. He's not even a Joshua Kimmich, but he's up there. He's up there. He's the way he's put up so many great performances consistently now, you have to say he's up there. You just do. Moving on to the midfield now. We're going to start with Leon Goretzka. I'm giving Goretzka a 6.5 out of 10, which is solid. I think Goretzka's been solid. I think he's, at this point, one of those guys who has a ceiling that he's not really going to go past. But he also has a floor, and that's worth something too, he's not been maybe as active in the attack under Vincent Kompany as he has been in the past, but he's just been a solid box-to-box guy, a physical presence. Bayern Munich's midfield is looking pretty good. They've got obviously Kimmich, Pavlovic, Bischoff now, who we're going to talk about them all, but Goretzka's been there. He's been consistent, filling in. Other guys have been injured, and Goretzka's been there, so I got to give him props for that at least. 6.5 out of 10 for Leon Goretzka. Next up, we're going to go with Tom Bischoff. I'm giving Bischoff a 7, and we haven't seen much out of Bischoff, so it's hard to say, but that Werder Bremen match that he started was really impressive to me. Bischoff, I think he also has a bit of that edge to him. He can play a lot of different roles/positions, but he also offers a little bit of a profile in the midfield that Bayern doesn't quite have. So, I want to see more out of Tom Bischoff is the thing, and then I think I'll be able to wrap my head around a little bit more firm of a rating, perhaps. Alexander Pavlovic, 7 out of 10 as well. Pavlovic has been solid. I think he had a little bit slower of a start to the season, kind of ramping back up from all the injuries, all the illnesses. He broke his eye socket earlier this year, which kind of was rough for him. But lately, I think we've been starting to see Pavlovic sneak back up to that level that he showed his rookie year and beginning of last year. So Pavlovic is he's getting there. And if we see more really good performances consistently, I think he can creep back up into that 8-9 role rating, I guess, in this role in the midfield. Next up, We got Joshua Kimmich. To me, he's been a 9. The Iron Man, you can call him. The man's been there all the time. He plays all the time. He's never hurt. He's always so solid. I say it all the time. He dictates play, the rhythm of the game. Everything runs through Kimmich. A vital player in this Bayern Munich team. A captain-like figure. Obviously, Neuer is the captain, but Kimmich is, I guess, the captain in the outfield. With all that stuff, all of his leadership in the locker room, on the pitch, whatever. Kimmich is great. 9 out of 10. That's it. He's just great. Moving on now to the attack. You obviously can't rate Jamal Musiala. He hasn't played yet this season due to his injury. But then you got Nicholas Jackson, 5 out of 10. Jackson, he hasn't been great for Bayern. Honestly, his rating would be even lower if it wasn't for his match against Paphos, goal and an assist. He had a really nice match in that one. But up until that point, he was struggling pretty heavily. But he's new to Bayern, so it's not like I'm throwing him out the window and saying never let this man touch the pitch again. I want to see more out of him. It's just that he's struggled to integrate, I think, into this Bayern system. His finishing hasn't been great. His movement hasn't been great, but it takes time. Those things take time, and I'm looking forward to hopefully, using Jackson as a depth piece, rotating him in and getting him more comfortable in this team, and hopefully his rating goes like this and skyrockets. It'd be great for everybody. Next up, I did want to mention Lennart Karl, who has been solid. I'm going to give him a 7. This is a tough one to rate just because he hasn't had much time, and he's had some up and down performances as well. His preseason was really, really good. Karl, he shows me that he has the skill that I'm looking for. He's just a little bit rough around the edges yet. But he has a really high ceiling. He has the potential. He's a fiery guy. Has put in some great shots. Got an assist at least. I can't remember if he's scored outside of all those preseason matches. But either way, Karl, he's been a guy who is tough for defenses to handle, tough for teams to cover. And he's worked well with this attack. He loses the ball a little bit too much, but that's to be expected, I guess, as a young guy. And it's not something that bothers me too much yet in his career. I'd rather have him be aggressive and play his game and lose the ball than just be timid and offer nothing. So that's kind of what I think about Karl. I'll give him a 7, but again, he's tough to rate right now. Diaz, Gnabry, and Olise, all 8.5s to me. They've all been really, really good. Really, really good. Luis Diaz coming over from Liverpool. He doesn't speak German. He's coming into a new league with a little bit of a different style of play from the Premier League, obviously. And he's integrated with this team so well. And to be honest, I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to get out of him. I wasn't sure, if he was going to be able to elevate this attack to the level that it needs to get to. But at the moment, he is. At the moment, he most certainly is. So I can say I was wrong about him, I guess. It's really early to tell, and I thought he would be good, but again, I didn't think he'd be able to be this good and elevate the team to this level, to be the best team in Europe at the moment. I mean, that's what they're playing like. I didn't think he could do that, and I'm more than happy to be wrong about that. So I'll gladly admit that, and I'll take that one on the chin. He's been, there's been a few complaints about his finishing, sure, whatever. That doesn't bother me at this point, just because of how well he's integrated with this team, and his work rate is so good, and he doesn't get discouraged with a miss. He'll keep fighting, and he's scored a lot, he's assisted a lot, and he just works so well with the team. And again, when Davies comes back, I think it's going to just push him even higher. I'm so pumped talking about the guy. I really am. And Serge Gnabry, I talked about him a lot. He's rejuvenated in this new role at number 10, and so much credit goes to Vincent Kompany for this. So much credit. Because Serge Gnabry is basically playing in his 2020 form. Will it last? I don't know. Gnabry's a streaky player, but I think that this role serves him well. I think being a super sub type guy, when Musiala comes back, obviously Musiala is going to bump Gnabry to the bench, but I think being a super sub guy, I think being a rotational guy. I think it's going to be great for him. And if he stays healthy, that's the thing that he always says. He's given a lot of interviews about this where he'll say, I don't know if I really feel that much different than these other seasons, but I just feel healthy right now, and I feel fit, and that's, I think, the difference maker for Gnabry. So, hey, knock on wood, let's keep this guy healthy, and let's just let him rip, because Gnabry cooks, and I have a little bit of a soft spot for Gnabry. I do. A lot of people don't, but what can I say? I think he's been great this year. And Olise, I said it before, I think he's been maybe the best signing of the last few years. I mean, Michael Olise is the perfect right winger for this team. Everybody and their mother wants him. Liverpool wants him. City wants him. Madrid wants him. And that's a compliment to me. You see all these fake accounts out there posting bullshit information that all these clubs are going to sign him. To me, that's a compliment, and it just makes me laugh. These guys like Bayern Space, who just have absolutely no information, no inside sources. They tweet something, and then a few hours later, it gets disproven by a real reporter. And even though, some accounts run with it, and some actual journalists run with these fake reports, and then the Bayern Space will delete it 2 hours later and pretend like it never happened. So it's just funny to me, all this buzz around Olise when he's such a nonchalant guy, and I think he is happy at Bayern. I mean, I think he's good buddies with Musiala and Davies, and Olise, let's be honest, he's a tough nut to crack. I'll never know what he's thinking, but I love him, and he's just so perfect for this Bayern attack. You see it with guys like Florian Wirtz. You can be a great player, and you cannot fit in a system at all. So Olise fits at Bayern. He's doing everything you want him to do. He's one of those guys that makes you fall in love with the game. He makes you realize how beautiful this game is. And Michael Olise, yeah, he's the man. Best for last, Harry Kane, 10 out of 10. Absolutely perfect season from Kane in every sense of the word. Kane will score the most goals in the world, most GA in the world, and that's not even enough to describe how good he is. Can you believe that? Can you wrap your head around that as a fan of this sport? The season that Kane's having right now, I mean, he's on pace to win everything, to break every record, to really force himself into the conversation for the best player of his generation. And I truly believe that. And again, it's early. It's October. We're throwing all those caveats out there, but caution to the wind right now. Kane is just so far and away the best player in the world. And it's not even close when I watch all these other guys. And no disrespect to Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe. Great seasons from these guys. They're playing unbelievable as well. But when you watch Kane, it's just different. It's just different. Everything he does for this team. Kane right now is being the best 10 in the world, the best 9 in the world, a solid 6, a solid defender, a coach, a leader. What else can you say about the guy? 10 out of 10 from Harold Edward Kane. And now we move on to Vincent Kompany. I don't see how I can't give him a 10 out of 10. At worst, 9.5, but I don't see how I can't give him a 10 out of 10. He's doing everything right. I mean, he's undefeated. He's crushing teams that he should crush. He's resting guys at appropriate times. He's integrating youth talent, which was a big complaint about him in the past, but he's doing it now. Yeah, I don't see how I can say a single negative thing about him. He's the man right now. I mean, he's controlling the locker room. He's got the respect of the players. The team is buying what he's selling. I extend him. If I'm Bayern Munich, I extend Vincent Kompany because he is just doing everything right now. And again, you got to do it for a whole season. Does it matter if he's looking like a 10 out of 10 in October? Maybe not, but at this point, I'm not going to be one of those guys who picks out the negative things and says, yeah, but he's not going to be able to do it throughout a whole season. I'm not going to be a Bayern Space. I'm not going to be whatever. Kompany's the best right now. I mean, he's just the best right now. He's doing great, and I don't have a single negative thing to say about him at this moment. I don't. Maybe that'll change. I mean, it's liable to change, whatever. But right now, I don't have a single negative thing I can say about Vincent Kompany. 10 out of 10. And now let's just run down the Bundesliga table. Let's give a state of the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich is on top with 18 points. Number 1, as we talked about. Perfect season. You got Dortmund in second. I mentioned it before. Can Niko Kovac keep this team running how they are? They're not like blowing me away. They're not knocking my socks off, but they're playing really solid. They're playing really good. They got 14 points in second, and Der Klassiker is coming up, so we'll see, I think, what they're really made of. Maybe they'll surprise us and put up a damn good performance against Bayern. But yeah, either way, I think Dortmund's going to be up there throughout the whole year. I don't see how they won't, but yeah, we'll see. Leipzig, again, talked about them, 13 points in third place. Leipzig had that embarrassing loss to Bayern Munich. New coach, Ole Werner, so they're learning a little bit. And I think they were trying to get used to his system and whatnot in that match, but right now they've been humming, and they have the talent. They do have the talent to be a top Bundesliga side, but will they ever put it all together? We'll see how consistent they'll be. Stuttgart is now in fourth with 12 points, and yeah, Sebastian Hoeneß, I've said it before, I like him a lot as a coach. I think he's kind of maybe done a lot with a little in the past, and I think we've maybe seen his ceiling at Stuttgart just with the kind of team that they are, but they're in fourth right now. They are looking good, and again, they're another one of those teams who can definitely challenge for a top spot in the table, but can they challenge Bayern Munich for the throne? Probably not. Leverkusen next is in fifth with 11 points. Funny season for Leverkusen so far. I talked about how their squad got decimated, but Erik ten Hag fired after 2 games. Disastrous start to the season. And now they're looking like they found some stability under their new coach, and they've been looking good lately. So, I'll hand it to Leverkusen. It looked like they were going to have an absolute disaster of a season, but can they challenge for the top? I don't think so. I don't think they can. Köln is in 6th place now, and I mentioned it. They are the surprise team of the season, 10 points, and they started off the year really, really hot. They've slowed down a bit, but then looked a little bit better. So they're just a team who, they've been in the Bundesliga before 2 seasons ago, but last year they were in the Zweite Bundesliga, got promoted this year to the Bundesliga. And they've been looking really good. They've surprised me because I did not think they were a team who, I thought they'd be a yo-yo team. Zweite Bundesliga, Bundesliga, Zweite Bundesliga, Bundesliga. I didn't think they would ever fall so far down in the second tier, but I didn't think they would be at this point right now. And it's a long season, especially for a team like Köln, but maybe, not having to juggle European football and all that will kind of keep them competitive. We'll see. Frankfurt is in 7th with 9 points. Frankfurt started off really hot. They obviously got crushed against Bayern, and has fallen off a little bit lately. Frankfurt has been an insanely hard team to figure out. Their attack is really good. They're always finding these attacking guys who you don't expect to be good, and then they are. And so their attack looks really solid, but their defense, especially the goalkeeper position right now, has left some questions to be asked. They'll crush a team 5-1. They beat Gala 5-1 in the Champions League, and then they'll look like they'll get the brakes blown off them or whatever. They got crushed by Leverkusen, I believe. Union Berlin beat them pretty bad, and they're crushing teams and then getting crushed. So Jekyll and Hyde, who knows what will come for Frankfurt in the future. Freiburg is in 8th with 8 points. After a rough start, Freiburg is kind of bouncing back a little bit here. They're a team who you would think could be competing for the fringe European spots, maybe not top 5 or so, but I believe they did finish 5th last year. Or 6th maybe, but they're a team that could be in that 5th, 6th, 7th range, so we'll see if they can kind of pull it together, but they had a really rough start. Next up is Hamburg, actually, in 9th place, also with 8 points. Hamburg had a disastrous start to the season, couldn't win, couldn't even score, and now they've actually pulled together a string of really nice performances, so they're sitting up there at 9th with 8 points, but this point in the table, you'll see, 14th place has 6 points, so they're really only separated. All these teams are really only separated by a few points. Obviously it's early in the season. St. Pauli is in 10th place with 7 points. St. Pauli had a beautiful start to the season. They drew Dortmund, they beat Hamburg in the derby there. So Really good start to the season. They've fallen off. St. Pauli is a team, that I love them. They've been without their captain, Jackson Irvine, for a while, so it's going to be tough. They're a team who you don't expect to score many goals, but to put up great defensive performances, and they've shown that they are a steady Bundesliga side these last couple years. Last year they were promoted back to the Bundesliga after playing a kind of a crazy system with Fabian Hürzeler in the Zweite Bundesliga. He's now at Brighton, and Alexander Blessen is now their coach. And he's been good, like just a different style though, just such a defensive style. But yeah, interesting to see. I hope they continue with a good run here. German football is just better off when St. Pauli is in the Bundesliga, in my humble opinion. Hoffenheim in 11th with 7 points. Hoffenheim has been kind of an up and down team as well. I predicted them to get relegated. I thought they had a horrible season last year, and then they lost Tom Bischoff. They're an interesting club. Obviously, they have had a rich owner. Not owner. It's the Bundesliga, but you know how it is. There are certain teams that can skirt the 50+1 rule, Hoffenheim being one of them. So they might be a team that like never really will be in too big of a danger to like stay relegated for long, but I don't know. They're a tough team to predict. Like, they have some talent, good keeper in Oliver Baumann, but they've just been up and down this year. Werder Bremen in 12th place with 7 points as well. They have been a team who have struggled. They've been decimated by injuries. They should be better. They could be better, but again, decimated with injuries. So I think they're just kind of holding off now until they really get their guys back and healthy. Union Berlin in 13th place with 7 points. Union Berlin is a team who I can't see, really competing for the top of the table. Maybe competing for mid-table is kind of their ceiling. We'll see. Augsburg with 14th place with 6 points. And they've been an interesting team to watch. Sandro Wagner, I think, is a really interesting manager. I think he could be a really good manager, but he has a bold style. And yeah, I mean, it looked like he was inspiring these guys at first, and they were getting a lot out of a little Augsburg, a team that is never great, always just fighting for the middle of the table. But I don't know if his style is going to be, I don't know if you can apply it to a team like Augsburg for a full season. It might be kind of a Ralph Hasenhüttl situation where he had Wolfsburg humming for a while last year, and then they just fell off a cliff. So we'll see with Wagner. And speaking of Wolfsburg, they're right below Augsburg, 15th place with 5 points. Wolfsburg is struggling this year. Again, a few injuries, I believe, for them, but they should be higher. They're a team who really should be kind of mid-table, in my opinion. We'll see if they can turn it around. Mainz, unfortunately, down there in 16th place with 4 points, because I like Mainz as well, and they had a really strong run last year. I think they're struggling. Now they got to balance European football with Bundesliga ball, and they're just not really a team that's built for that. A smaller club, smaller payroll. So I hope Mainz can turn it around and kind of climb up the table, but so far it's been a really rough start for them. Gladbach in 17th place with 3 points. Speaking of rough starts, Gladbach should be better too. But they are dearly missing Tim Kleindienst, their striker, and they've just been bad so far. So we'll see if they can turn it around, once they get a heavy hitter like Kleindienst back. Heidenheim in 18th place now, rounding out the table with 3 points as well. Really a disastrous season for Heidenheim. They are such a small club, and I really do love Frank Schmidt, their manager, dearly. Heidenheim, I have a big soft spot for them as well. I hope they do better, but yeah, they're not a team. They're just not a team who's built for the Bundesliga, unfortunately. Such a small city, such a small budget. It's a miracle that they've stayed up as long as they have in the Bundesliga. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it again. We'll see if they have a trick up their sleeve, a rabbit in their hat they can pull out, but I just don't know. So that's going to wrap things up now. I mean, this is a joyous state of the season, and hopefully next one will be even better. But yeah, we got their Klassiker coming up for Bayern Munich against Dortmund. Will be a great test in the Bundesliga, Club Brugge in the Champions League, and then Bayern hits a rough stretch where it's like Köln, PSG, Arsenal, Leverkusen, all these tough matches back to back to back to back. So Kompany's gonna, have to keep his team sharp and figure out the rotation thing. And just keep it up is all I can say. Bayern, keep it up, pedal to the metal. Don't let any doubt creep in. Don't take your foot off the gas. So that's where I think I'll leave it. Jim will come on and give you some Chelsea updates too here on the channel as well. But be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to comment, all those amazing things. Thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for all the support. And as always, Mia San Mia.